Hello, my name is Faro Najrabi. I will be talking to you today about how to automate repetitive tasks with Python. You may be wondering what automating tasks really means and how it can help you in your life. Well, we can all agree that the healthcare field involves jobs that require workers to use computers to do things such as register new patients, update diagnosis codes, phone numbers, and other structured data fields. If we were to automate such tasks, it would allow workers to concentrate on more important things, like brainstorming solutions, customer service. Basically, more focus would be placed on sales, innovation, development, just other things that help make the business grow. And also, if a computer can do it, why not? The example scenario for this project will be updating cell phone numbers of a list of patients within the EMR called eClinicalWorks. This task may be presented if your organization wants to implement text messaging to patients for things like appointment reminders, lab results, received confirmations, and maybe just other general notifications. And before we can send the campaign text messages, we need to make sure we have records of the patient's cell phone numbers, of course. And let's say we run a report and the output is in Excel format. This output will indicate all the patients that are registered in the EMR but are missing values in the cell phone field. Let's also assume that the patient's home phone numbers are included in the EMR, and these home phone numbers are also generated in the output. You'll call each patient on the spreadsheet and confirm with them that they would be okay to receive alerts via text, and then, of course, obtain their cell phone numbers. Again, this is just an example scenario. Once you have the patient's cell phone numbers, you'll want to input it into the EMR under their profiles in the correct field. This is where our code comes in. Once the phone numbers are updated, you are required to send your supervisor an email just to confirm that you finished the task. Our code will also handle that aspect. Before writing the code that will automate our task, we need to install a couple of packages or modules. The first one is called PyAutoGUI. You can install this by opening up the Anaconda prompt and writing pip install PyAutoGUI and just pressing enter. This module will assist with performing virtual clicks and keyboard strokes. It's pretty much what gets our code going. Next, we will install the module called Selenium. We can do that in the same way that we installed PyAutoGUI. With Selenium comes needing to install WebDriver. That can be done through the link that's indicated on the slide. The installations of Selenium and WebDriver are really powerful, but for my code, they will be only used to open up Google Chrome. When we are ready to write our code, we can open up the Python console. I use Spider, which is part of Anaconda. First, we will import our modules. So that includes PyAutoGUI, WebDriver, OS, and time. I already discussed the significance of PyAutoGUI and WebDriver from Selenium. The OS module, that stands for Operating System, helps to interact with your system. For my code, it just helps me to open the spreadsheet that I'll be referencing my data from. The time module will help to delay the actions in between commands. And this is so that my code does not run faster than my computer can process. Before showing you the code in action, I think it's important to give some reminders. First, this code is designed for my desktop only. That's not just because the pathways incorporated in the code are from my drive. It's also because the code uses screen coordinates to know where to click and type. If you don't have the same screen coordinates as I, it would not work for you. Also, you should really use the time delay function within your code. This was one of the troublesome areas for me when I was writing the code. These codes run alarmingly fast, and if your computer cannot keep up, especially with loading pages promptly, it will fall behind, and you will notice that the computer just starts clicking random places, and all sorts of scary things can happen with that. If that were to happen, to simply deactivate the code, place your cursor on the upper left-hand side of your screen, and the code will deactivate. That's definitely a nice feature. Prospect of the code. That's an interesting title. Here, I just want to express that the code that I wrote is quite elementary if you consider Python's capabilities. My biggest limitation was that since I used a live EMR, there were some built-in features within our EMR that prevented me from using certain commands. That could have been for security purposes, I'm not sure. For example, I was not able to reference cells from the imported Excel sheet in Python, but rather needed to reference those cells from an opened Excel file. Also, I work with a very small set of data. With larger sets, you may want to incorporate a loop or another method that will perform your task without you having to code each retrieval. Lastly, it would have probably been more efficient to use screenshot recognitions or value of input text HTML codes instead of finding out the coordinates of the icons that I needed to click on and the fields that I needed to fill. We are now ready to see the code work its magic. You will notice that the entire code is shown on this slide, but I've blacked out the areas where there are usernames or passwords.